The law is for babies. The law is a diaper. The law is a nanny. If you're adults, you've grown up, you don't need that stuff anymore, and you certainly don't need circumcision, which goes along with it. Look at chapter 5. This is a conclusion of sorts. Chapter 5, verse 2. Listen, I, Paul, am telling you that if you let yourselves be circumcised, Christ will be of no benefit to you. It's like you're choosing to still be children. And if you're going to still be children, you're not going to benefit from what Christ offers. Once again, I testify to every man who lets himself be circumcised that he is obliged to obey the entire law. Right? It's all or nothing for Paul. If you're going to follow that, then you have to follow everything. And how's that going to work out for you? Can you follow the whole thing? No. If you're going to start, you're going the opposite direction. You're going to try to follow the law the whole way. You're going to try to be justified by following the law, but it's not going to work because nobody can follow it perfectly. You want to be justified, you who want to be justified by the law have cut yourselves off from Christ. You have fallen away from grace. For through the Spirit, by faith, we eagerly wait for the hope of righteousness. For in Jesus Christ, neither circumcision nor uncircumcision counts for anything. The only thing that counts is faith working through love. Verse 7. You were running well. He's saying you were doing so good before you screwed up, you idiots. Who prevented you from obeying the truth? Right? We started out with a curse. We're getting back to that curse again. Who prevented you from obeying the truth that I gave you? Such persuasion does not come from the one who calls you. It's not coming from Jesus. It's not coming from me. A little yeast leavens the whole batch of dough. I am confident about you in the Lord that you will not think otherwise. But whoever it is that is confusing you will pay the penalty. Those people who are confusing you, they probably won't be resurrected when the end comes. But my friends, why am I still being persecuted if I am still preaching circumcision? In that case, the offense of the cross has been removed. Verse 12 is a touching end here. I wish those who unsettle you would castrate themselves. Right. If you want to circumcise, just go ahead and cut the whole thing off while you're at it. This is what he's suggesting. You're wasting your time by trying to follow the law according to Paul. Now let me spell out a series of oppositions that we get. These are a series of homologues, right? On the one hand, there's Moses, but we have Jesus. Moses brought us the law, but Jesus we need to have faith in. There are works of the law. You can work to follow the law, or you can have grace, which is a gift. This is his emphasis on the fact that do you deserve to die or do you deserve to have resurrection? Which do you ultimately deserve for him? For Paul? Well, you don't. You deserve death. Resurrection is a gift that you don't deserve. So for him, it's a grace. It's a gift. That's all I mean by grace here is gift. You do not merit by your hard work to be resurrected. You deserve death because you're not going to be able to work hard enough to be perfect. So you have a choice between working hard or a free gift. You can be circumcised. Or you can see that that's irrelevant. To be under the law is to be like a slave, or to be like a child, Or the opposite of slave is a free person. The opposite of a child is an adult. Jews are over there. Christians, which could mean people who are Jewish or Gentiles, on the other side. Which column gets a negative mark on it? The left column. Which column gets a plus mark over it? The right column, right? These are all negative things. These are all positive things. Can you see how you don't have to work really hard to get anti-Semitic ideas out of the Bible? Right? If you're a Nazi and you're like, look, I want to justify excluding Jews, you can point back to things like Galatians and be like, well, the Jews are like children. They're like slaves. They're ignorant. I don't think that Paul would have intended that sort of reading, but the oppositions he makes between good and bad, and the fact that he puts Jews on the bad side and puts the law on the bad side, lends itself to being co-opted by people who are anti-Semitic. Paul's key assumption, as far as I'm concerned, in this whole argument that he makes in both Galatians and Romans, is this. If you don't follow the law completely, you deserve death. Right? It's all or nothing for him. He's a loan shark. God is a loan shark who's going to come and kill you whether or not you owe $1 million, $100, or 10 cents. It's all or nothing. You either follow the law perfectly or you deserve death. Now, Anthony, you took the Old Testament class last semester where we spent a lot of time reading the law. Do you remember ever saying that anywhere?
Did the Old Testament say if you don't follow the law completely, you deserve death?
Yeah.
It might have. It was pretty, negative in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but do you remember that specifically?
No.
I don't remember that specifically either. And I've looked for it and had a hard time finding that. Let's look. Switch back to Exodus. I'm looking on page 67 of this Bible. Exodus 21. Let's see what the law says. Exodus 21. Let's look at verse 15. Someone read 21:15.
Whoever strikes father or mother shall be put to death.
All right. If you hit your mother and father, the penalty is death. Confirmed. Read verse 16.
Whoever kidnaps a person, whether that person has been sold or is still held in possession, shall be put to death.
Okay, you kidnap somebody, death. Check.